My name is Jakub Rataj, and we are in a village called Vonoklasy, which is like a really small village surrounded by trees and forest, and it's in the heart of the nature. It's a really quiet place. When we came to this place, I really knew I want to live here. It went very fast. If you cross the street, there is this little house for storing things, and the idea is that in few years, when my son gets bigger and he will get his room where my studio is right now, so during the next few years I will make out of this storage place a studio, which will be called atelier storage place or something in the sense. And on the second floor I'm planning to have my studio, and downstairs it will be a place for events, for meeting people, and as well for my wife Helena, who's a choreographer and dancer. My wife and I have had several projects together where she was either the dancer and choreographer or only the choreographer, and I was doing the music, either for a dance movie or a solo performance where both of us were reacting on each other. But then we had like a bigger collaboration with light designers and stage designers as well. And Prague Modern, which is a really nice contemporary ensemble based in Prague, as the name says. That was like this whole evening piece called The Art of Manipulation. It was a reduced form in the sense that I recorded each instrument, or actually the musical layer of the whole ensemble. But it consists as well of electronic music and live processed audio. For this manipulation of the sound, I was using like a motion sensor, which looks a bit like a strange ring, and the idea was to change the acting or the dance, to shift the position of a dance performer into a dance sound or dance music performer. The dancer becomes a musical interpreter. When I write music or program some patches, these are always musicians, instrumentalists and professional musicians who are working with this material. The biggest difference here was that it wasn't a musician, but it was a dancer who was creating the sound and who was reacting on music that was performed by professional musicians. And the interesting thing for me was to be a part of this process where the performer, the dancer, starts to think about his motion, his movement, and when the dancer starts to think about his body as a musical instrument. Everything that happens on stage is a part of a musical structure. In that sense, that the sounds that are produced with the body, like for instance when they had like a strong moment with fast motion, of course the body reacts in the way that the dancers can't avoid the breath, so they start to breathe kind of loud because of the intensity of the motion. And in this way I was thinking of the possibility how to transform the physical motion into sound, means that are not only musical, if there should be a narration, or if you are working with a video or light design, stage design. To me it's very important that everything is a part of one structure, that the direction is the same, that the intention that is not in separated forms that don't communicate, or that one part is above the other in sense of importance, but each parameter is equal and goes in the same direction. I come from a non-professional music background or a family. So what I remember and what definitely had a huge influence were the lullabies that my mother used to sing every night when I went to bed. And I remember my dad playing guitar and singing songs, very often songs that were like the ones that are not, that one should not sing politically, because that was in the time during the communist regime. And so that was something that was always present. It was we had several tapes that we were listening over and over again. I remember it was the Beatles, it was Elvis Presley, and then I had a period of a year I was listening to Boney M all over again, and I was like 5 years old or something. And I was trying to sing the songs with my own Chenglish. When I was about 16 years old, and I started to read books by Jakub Rataj and Hermann Hesse and Thomas Mann, etc. And I just fell in love with traveling. I was hitchhiking through Europe, and I met people playing guitar on streets, and I fell in love with theater and arts, and I thought I'm just already too old to start with something, because I thought that one is supposed to have this musical background that you can't start when you're 16. But I just decided that I want to start to play guitar, and a year or 2 years later, I started to play in a group, in a band. And there was this one moment when I was not being accepted to study sinology. And I thought I will leave Czech Republic and just live for a year or 2 years in China, so that I learn Chinese on my own and then come back and study sinology. But during that time, it was like 2 months before I wanted to take the flight. A friend of mine who gave me guitar lessons, he told me, "Would you be interested in studying guitar, like seriously, in a conservatory? Because I have a professor there, and he might take a look on what you're doing." And I thought, well, why not? I mean, it was something that I never thought possible. So I went there, and the professor told me that it's really worth to try. And so I locked myself in a room, and I was like, for 2 months I was almost not leaving the room, and I was only playing guitar and trying to learn, and I was learning Bach by heart, and I was learning the notes and musical theory, and I did the entrance exam, and that was like this one of the crossroads in life that direct you in a certain way. Then it gradually, I gradually realized that rather than practicing 6 hours a day guitar, I prefer to spend the 6 hours by writing music, or 4 hours or whatever. And I felt this thrilling aspect of a creation, and that was actually the thing that attracted me most. So I was very open-minded to any impulse that motivates you to go further. And although I was saying that my idea was to study sinology, I already knew that I want to focus on Chinese traditional music. Actually, whatever I was planning to study or to dive into was always somehow connected with music, to music. Then when I got this chance, of course I was nervous because I was very insecure if what I do is worth to demonstrate to someone. But I think that one is always confronted with the outside world, that one has something that is very important for him. It's very fragile, and then the moment when you come out and you're supposed to show it to someone else, and there was no question if I should do it or not. When I went for the first time to the concert that was in Rudolfinum, conducted by Pierre Boulez, and he was conducting his piece performed by the ensemble Antenne Contemporain. And at that time I didn't know anything about Pierre Boulez, because in the conservatory where I was studying, contemporary music ends with Janáček and Bohuslav Martinu. It was, I remember this sensation of like being thrown in a sonic universe where I got completely lost. When you have an instrument tuned in a certain way and you hit the right vibration, it sounds, it starts to resonate. So that was this type of feeling, that I heard something that I knew is important for me, and is something inside I need to discover. I never decided to write the music in an avant-garde or in a modern way. It was not a question of decision. If I say it's simple, I just write the music I want to listen to. So that's actually my attitude. It's not the attempt to do something provoking or shocking or unique. It's not the idea behind. It's just a necessity to express my inner world. After writing, it was during the studies on the conservatory in Teplice, then I felt I need to just discover a different world. I just felt that okay, I heard what I wrote, I heard the result, but I thought I have to like dig. I have to dig deeper, and then if you discover something that touches you, or that, as I said, starts to resonate with you. So that were these were the compositions, as I mentioned. For example, Pierre Boulez, or later Gérard Griset, and one could or Xenaki. So it were these compositions that led me into into discovering the material, the compositional techniques, etc. I don't divide the world of electronic music and new technologies with the world of purely instrumental music, because it's only the way one gets to the same result, in sense of creating processes, creating musical structures. It's like if you want to say something, you have to learn the language. So right now I'm working on an electroacoustic piece that will be kind of like a short piece, but I have recorded some material using this old beautiful Surge synthesizer when I was in Stockholm for a while, and I love the sounds. I just like to listen to them and creating a world, a sonic world that I want to listen to. Yeah. I recorded almost 7 hours of this sonic material when I was at the electro music studio in Stockholm. And I knew that I'm creating a material that will just force me to look for ways how to treat this material. What I love about it is that you can really like feel the current, the unpredictability that you are trying to control in a way, but is very fragile and disappearing in every second. Something. So actually, what I did was like shooting a picture of this sensation. And now I'm somehow trying to dive back and to discover this fragility. I think that in Czech Republic, the majority of cultural events happen in few cities. It's of course you can stay outside of Prague or in a very small place and still do very interesting projects. But in terms of cultural events, concerts, exhibitions, theater, etc., there are not many choices, and Prague is of course one of it. And I came because I was being accepted to study composition at the academy in Prague, at the music academy in Prague. The advantage is that one is surrounded by really wonderful musicians and artists, and one has the opportunity to go to different types of concerts and galleries, exhibitions, the possibilities to start collaborations with I try to focus on what I do and understand why I do each single detail. I'm sometimes a bit obsessed with details and with knowing why exactly this is on this in this place and in that moment. And I don't think it's actually a problem. It might be considered a problem because it slows down the whole process of writing. I just can't write a note without knowing why it is there, which doesn't mean that I don't allow myself writing a note without being a part of a structure. But if I do it, I have to know why I do it. And the reason can be very simple. It can be just a spontaneous idea, but put in a well thought musical structure, which itself can be very simple as well, but it has to make sense to me. And sometimes I struggle with exactly this question, whether what I do is on its right place and whether I dig deep enough. I was recently discussing with Miroslav Srnka, a friend of mine, a great composer, that one should not be scared to destroy and to forget a strict system if it's necessary. That one should not close himself in an optimal bubble that one is aware of, that one knows, one feels comfortable. I think that that is something I am thinking of very much right now. I have no problem that once I create a system and I realize that somehow in the construction there is something which I don't know why, but it's not working. I think I have no problems with erasing it. Right now, I developed a certain kind of structure, and basically what I do is picking 23 different very short sounds and creating a certain kind of like very fast texture before I start thinking about the form and the processes, and actually thinking of each little fragment, of each little sound grain in terms of the very small atom of a bigger structure. So that's basically what my idea is. I am really interested in, and what my PhD thesis is about, is actually the physiological aspect in music, especially how like parameters of a human breath or pulsation can affect either the whole form or single gestures, and to create a certain kind of I would say organic type of movement or organic type of gesture. I see the parallel or the similarity in the human body, in something that affects the way we perceive things, the way we perceive the outside world. When I was studying in Paris, and I was working on a piece called Between the Words, and in the middle part I was working with a poem in the way that I cut out the words, so the breathing in before the word is being pronounced and the breathing out after the word is being pronounced. And I discovered that it affected my perception, it affected my mood. I could really feel a tension. And then I started to think of human breath as something that generates tension or the opposite. And then I was thinking of when someone is nervous and he starts to breathe in a certain way, it can totally change his perceiving of the outside world. That led me into thinking of the human breath as a part of of every musical layer, or of every musical aspect. So then I was thinking of creating harmony, or actually the timbre, by analyzing the spectrum of a human breath, which led me then to focusing myself on inharmonic material, and what goes together is the pulse.